having a PowerTap makes a huge difference in pacing for a time trial. Because it ultimately allows you to regulate your intensity so that you, one, don't blow up. You don't go too hard and then your pace drops off. And then two, it allows you to ride right at your edge, right at the limit, and it keeps you honest. So you have to stay at the limit. The number one rule in time trialing, first off, is get to your start time on time. Don't miss your start. But two is don't start too hard. Don't start too hard. Don't start too hard. Everybody's done it. You go to a time trial and you're all amped, you're excited, your adrenaline's going, and the guy counts down, and what do? You take off as hard as you can go, you know, and you just kill it for the first 30, 45 seconds. At 600 watts, you're going, you know, oh my gosh, I'm gonna win this time trial. I'm doing, you know, 35 miles an hour and I'm doing 560 watts, you know, and then you start to do, you know, 29 miles an hour and 28 and 27 and your watts going down and down and down. And all of a sudden 5 minutes in the time trial, you're doing like 20 miles an hour and you're doing 200 watts barely, and you've blown up. You started too hard. So ultimately, one, in the first 5 minutes of your time trial, if it's a 40-kilometer time trial, you got to hold back. And so your power meter initially is a governor. It holds you back. It says, okay, don't try and do 560 watts because you're not Jens Voigt and you're not gonna hold that for the whole TT. Be more realistic, and maybe only 15, 20% over your functional threshold power. Then you ease into it and you hold your power right there at the edge. Let's say, for example, your threshold power is 300 watts. Well, I'm gonna hold right at 300 watts, 320, 300, 320, and see if I can just hold right in that range. A lot of people say, well, isn't that kind of limiting yourself? You're like, you're not going as hard as you can go, or maybe you're on a great day and you're kind of holding back and not doing your best. Well, you know what? That's why you kind of push that limit a little bit. But you know what? Even the best day that you have, you're not gonna do 400 watts, you know? If your threshold's 300, you know, the best day you might do is 320, you know, a little bit over. So it's still, you're kind of always pushing the envelope. And then at the end of the time trial, it allows you to you know, once you've done a great pace, you've stayed honest the whole way, you've pushed yourself to the edge, at the end, you can start ramping it up. You know, and again, not going 500 watts, but okay, now I'm gonna hold 350, and I'm gonna hold 360, and I'm gonna hold 370, I'm gonna push a little harder, all the way to the end, allowing you to have a super strong finish. So pacing in a time trial, absolutely critical. Using a PowerTap, power meter, absolutely critical for a time trial, super important.